Okay, this is our first toolpath, actually face toolpath, and then we can use the actually roughing and the toolpaths here. So we can use the right mouse button here and Lathe toolpaths, and we can use the rough toolpath here. I can click here for rough toolpath. At that point, actually, that spot is quite important, and we need to select our boundary to be able to create our toolpath. We can click here. This is green and red arrow here. This is my starting point and this is my end point. So at that point, we can click here to be able to reach that area. Okay, and then I can click OK button to accept my chain. After that is the same process. This is my tool. Okay, and this is my feed rate. It can be and the 0.15 millimeter and the for actually and a rev, and then this is my plunge rate, can be and the different. At that point, actually most of the time we prefer to use and the constant RPM. So we can write, this is not cutting speed, this is RPM, my spindle speed. If you click here, that's gonna turn to cutting speed. So if you click here, this is RPM, so that's why we can write maybe on the 1000 here. And that maximum spindle speed is not important because we can use actually constant RPM here. So it is not active right now, and maybe we can also use 1000. This is reference point. We already mentioned about that stuff. I always activated that stuff with and the 1, and this is also activated. This is Z-axis 1 here, and click OK button. All that stuff is ready right now. We can turn to rough parameters. When we turn to rough parameters, actually, and we can decide that stock to leave in and x-axis for finishing. For example, I can write 0.1, and that point actually we can also write stock to leave on the z-axis. Okay, and I can also write 0.1 here. Okay, actually most of the time I prefer to use and half of my stock to leave in x-axis. Okay, because and when we think the diameter actually, and we can that will be better to use half of the stock to leave in x-axis because it's quite difficult to cut on the z direction. Okay, this is my cutting method here. This is the one way. We can also select rough direction degree here. It can be 0. Okay, and let's focus on that part. Okay, this is my depth cut options. We can use auto, or we can use equal steps, or we can use incremental approach. We can use equal steps. So if I am writing here 1, this is actually, when we think about the diameter, that's going to turn to 2 millimeter. Okay, this is only about our and half of our diameter, so that's going to turn to actually half of my product maybe. Okay, so okay, this is the actually compensation type. It's calculated computer, so it's not important about my radius. Okay, we can only focus on and actually and focusing on our and tool diameter and in Mastercam. Okay, we can write 0 when we turn to CNC. It's our radius diameter. It's not important. So this is the compensation direction on the right side, and we can also create some around corners here. That's not so important. We can turn to lead in options. This is lead in and lead out options. It's quite important. Okay, we also would like to write here 1 length, and this is my degree. So we're gonna enter on that direction This is lead in. When we turn to lead out, that's going to be my lead out options. Okay. So we can also gonna focus on that stuff. Okay, let's click OK button and see what we did. Okay, perfect toolpath. So good. Okay, so I also mentioned about that an entry amount. This is 2.5 millimeter. This is all about and that distance 2.5 millimeter. If I am writing here, this is the good way to learn and about all that parameters. Actually, if you click on the 5 and click that button, that's gonna turn to 5. This is the entry amount. This is my last point actually. If you and remember that stuff, this is my radius extension, and we can also write some and the 2 millimeters to be able to extend our and exit amount. Okay, that's also quite important, but also you need to be careful about your and actually crush with your chalk. Okay, so okay, let's talk about our parameters. This is the actually and the lead in and lead out. So this is my lead in parameters 1 millimeter. This is my lead out parameter and this is my lead out degree. Okay, let's write and the 20 degree here. Okay, this is gonna turn to 20 degree. Okay, maybe if you would like to optimize your toolpath, you can write 0.5 millimeter with 10 degree. Okay, that's only our retract position like this. Okay, maybe you should also think about that stuff. Let's turn to and the default values here 1 and our degree. Okay, maybe you can also think that what's that? This is my an exact line and this is my toolpath. So don't worry about that. When you focus on okay, where is my tool? Yeah, okay, it's here right now. Okay, we can focus on that stuff, our finishing process, but you can see that that's all about our tool compensation. Okay, this is my tool and this is going to be my tool compensation. Okay, maybe we can also try to and explain to you here. This is maybe my tool diameter 5 millimeter and this is my compensation type like this. All my toolpath actually calculated according to that point. Okay, so that's why if you intend to cut and that kind of line, okay, this is your exact line. Actually, this is going to be your toolpath line. Maybe we should change. Okay, this is my exact line and this is going to be my toolpath line. Okay, because of actually and toolpath parameters, tool and parameters and compensation type is calculated like this. Okay, so don't worry about and that stuff. Okay, let's turn to entry amount. Maybe we should also write here 1. Okay, that's better. So let's talk about other parameters. We can select an equal steps 1. Maybe we should write as a 5 to be able to see that stuff here. And yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's all about our and the actually roughing process. This is the actually first step for actually roughing process.